Hi lovely ones, it's Ethany and welcome to Oracle Wednesday for the 13th of November through to the 19th of November for 2019, and it is time for you to pick your pile of cards for your reading this week. So as always, I'm going to swap over the cameras. You're going to see the pile of cards and pick which one is calling your name or that you first feel drawn to, and then you're going to come back and I'm going to go through the messages for each pile. If you would like to know what decks I am using in Oracle Wednesday this week, you can have a look in the description below, or you can wait until the end while I'm going to go through a few of the cards and show you what I have been working with this week. So without further ado, let's get this party started for Oracle Wednesday. Okay, so now it's time for you to take a deep breath and center yourself and pick the pile that you feel the most drawn to or that holds your message today. Our piles go from left to right, so this is pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. So when you're ready, I suggest you write down what pile you have selected so you do not forget. And let's go to your messages revealed. Okay, so those of you who picked pile number 1, your cards are Simplicity, the 8 of Water, and these backs are so beautiful, the 8 of Water, and Productivity. So your message for this week is that things are not as complicated as other people would like you to believe. You do not actually need to buy into the narrative, you can probably hear thought behind me, narrative that everyone is spinning or trying to get you to buy into or trying to get you involved in. We have things that are happening in our lives, and then we have often the story that we attach to it or the drama that we attach to it, whether we like to retell it because it gives us attention, whether we're doing it because it's cathartic, or whether we just kind of get involved with the hype and get on the hype train. And I have been guilty of every single one of those ones. So if it doesn't feel right, or if you simply do not have time for it, you need to embrace this 8 of Water and simply remove yourself from that story and let everybody else chase the drama. You have bigger fish to fry. That is such a weird saying, isn't it? When you really think about it, bigger fish to fry. It's such a weird bloody saying. Any hoodle. Your time is precious and valuable, and you have other things to be focused on. What you are to be focusing on this week is being productive rather than just busy. Tackle the first thing on your to-do list and do that thing to completion. Thor is literally dragging around his bed. It's very, very, see, I'm even getting distracted. I'm even buying into the narrative. Oh, what am I doing? Taking my own advice. So focus on being productive. Tackle the first thing on your to-do list and do it through to completion before you move on to the next thing. If you start to try and do too much, or if you're starting to get distracted, or if you are starting to buy back into the narrative that things are too difficult, that things are too hard, that it's too big of a task, start to break things down into smaller, achievable lumps and portions and get moving. This week is where you're going to get things done and not just talk about it. And while, talking about things can certainly be helpful, and being in a space where you can look at collaborating and all that kind of thing, this week is not really about pulling in other people's energy and asking for their input. It is really about you knowing what is right and knowing what needs to be done and getting it done. The last thing you need to do is start to make things difficult because you have too many cooks in the kitchen, or you have too many opinions, or too many people pulling you in different directions. That doesn't help you stay productive. That doesn't help you get things done. You need to focus on your own work. You need to focus on getting your goal done. And what I like to do is just focus, I've said this many times, but it always bears repeating. Only have 3 things on your to-do list for the day, and focus on getting those done. Instead of having this massive list, have a weekly list of how many things you need to get done in a week and then break it down. It's never good for your psyche or for your energy or for your feeling and well-being to make things super complicated and to make things overwhelming for yourself. So that is your message for group number 1 of keeping things simple, keeping it attainable, and being productive this week rather than simply busy. For pile number 2, your cards this week are Rescue, Karma, and Structure. So I was really drawn to the rescue word this week, and it might be because this is my deck and I get very kind of drawn to that because I had to write about rescue, but it is a very loaded word. But if this week for you, if you're in this habit of rescuing other people around you to keep the peace, then your spirit has a message for you. Take some time to check in on yourself and see if this is actually starting to take a toll on you mentally, physically, emotionally, and even financially. Helping other people is super admirable, and it is something that we really want to do for the people that we love. It is a natural reflex. It is something that is absolutely a beautiful thing. But when you are putting yourself in harm's way, or you are doing something that is not being reciprocated, or you have no assistance in that, you have no help in that, or you're shielding people from their own shit, that's something where this karma card comes in. If you're shielding people from the fact that they have repercussions to their choices, where they have to look at the fact that they have done something and they need to own up to that and take responsibility. If you're stepping in front of that responsibility and shielding them from that, not only are you taking on somebody else's karma, you're also harming yourself and also harming them in the lesson. Now, this is uber complicated and everything has its own situation, and you're not being asked to obviously put anyone in harm's way, but you really do and are being asked to look at what is happening beyond just making things happy or keeping the status quo or keeping everyone around you pleased and happy and placating the issue. You do not need to put yourself in harm's way, or even worse, putting yourself in a situation where you're going to be the one who needs rescuing because you keep rescuing other people. You may need to put some structure in place this week in order to help you, and the way that you do that is by putting in healthy boundaries so that people have to start owning up to their shit, by looking to other people and letting them know that maybe you're struggling, reaching out to your resources. Rescuing is not always a bad thing. Sometimes we need a line and sometimes we need some help, but knowing that it's very, very easy to sort of get sucked into a situation where you're creating the same amount of drama and repercussions and stress on yourself when you're helping other people. And again, I'm not saying it's a bad thing that you want to help others and that you're a beautiful soul that is wanting to be there for the people they love. That is absolutely a wonderful thing. I always say we need more kindness in the world, but it's also making sure that you're being kind to yourself and not at your own expense. Woo! I wish I could do that better. Oh, anyway, I'm no Alyssa Edwards. Okay, group number 3. Your first card is Rebirth. Your second card is 8 of Fire. And your third card is Eruption. So I was so happy when these cards came out for the third group, because if there is a bunch of you, especially those of you who have picked this pile that have been waiting for things to kind of hit a little bit of a reset button, get ready, because you are about to be presented an opportunity to rebirth and actually set that reset button for a few things in your life. Obviously not the whole thing, not the whole gamut, not the whole enchilada, the whole tamale, but some things in your life, especially if you've been holding on to a creative project, or where you have been wanting to let go of something and starting a new cycle. So your question this week is, well, there's actually two. I think it's just a really long question when I was channeling this. Are you ready to accept this offer and be who you really are? Not what others, this is a chameleon, not what others expect for you or the role that they want you to play in their lives. That's a really big one. If you've been playing a role for other people, or if you have been hiding what it is you truly desire, this is the time it's going to come out. So that eruption is happening. Like, this is the thing about things like eruption, is that it's like unavoidable. The pressure can only be under the surface for so long before it's going to go somewhere. So it's going to happen. So for you, it's like really stepping out from this chameleon and being your authentic self. You have all of this drive and talent and passion. And if you can live your life as authentically as possible and go after what you truly want, you will succeed. A big part of that is being willing to stand in your own power and be yourself. Start to prepare yourself now, because change is, whoa, the dog, change is imminent, and you are done pretending and waiting. Oh my stars, Thor is being a right little bugger, aren't you? What you doing? He's literally like knocking his bed into the screen. Cheeky little blighter. So this is your cards here for pile number 3. Now, something to be aware of is that, you know, if it's not safe for you to be who you really are, like there are people, and I get this every day pretty much about at the Tarot Readers Academy group and the Awakened Soul Coven, is like people are in a situation where either their hometown isn't safe or their family doesn't understand what they do. Please do not put yourself in harm's way. This is more about being authentic in the ways that you can and reclaiming who you are in the ways that you can. It doesn't have to be about and it's absolutely not about putting yourself in harm's way. It is about really just living a life that is authentic to you. I hope that makes sense. Alrighty, so the decks that we have this week, this is the thing about recording stuff. It's like I try to do things as professionally as possible. You know, I make sure I record when my son is with his father and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, sometimes life happens, and when you have a when you have a puppy familiar, things are going to happen. So thank you for bearing with me. Okay, so the first deck is the Awakened Soul Oracle. This is my deck and the art done by Danny. We are working on the 2nd edition changes for the deck. Oh, that's upside down. That will be coming out early 2020, which is coming so soon. The 1st edition is sold out, but you can get onto the wait list for the 2nd edition, and then I'll be letting everyone know what cards we have changed. Like that's staying in, this one's staying in, Simplicity staying in. So yeah, so there'll be a walkthrough of what we're changing in the deck, and I'm really excited because I've been seeing all of Danny's work come in as we've been working on the 2nd edition changes, and I can't wait. So that's the Awakened Soul Oracle, and it's just honestly one of my favorite things of all time. The second deck is the Wild Messengers. I believe there is still a few copies of this 1st edition available. The Wild Messengers Alchemical Tarot, and it is a real beauty for those of you who like to work with animals. I have a full unboxing of this. Those backs, right? Like it's so tactile. I don't think I use that word in the right context, but anyway, I have an unboxing of this deck on my channel. The guidebook is exceptional. I absolutely love it, and this artwork is really quite gorgeous. I love watercolors, so I urge you, if you feel drawn to this deck, to go check out the unboxing and the website of this gorgeous deck. I like my cephalopods. I do. I really do like cephalopods. They're so... Oh, that's a runaway. They're so moose. They're so clever and amazing. Look at that. Damn. I'm peering into your soul. Okay, that's the Wild Messengers. And finally, we have the Illuminated Earth Oracle. Oh, this deck is... So glad when I was like looking through the decks what decided to speak to me this week. I have an unboxing of this video of this. I have an unboxing video of this deck as well on my channel, and you can get this deck from Etsy. And I have all of the links, as always, to where you can get the decks in the description box below. Everything about this deck is beautiful to me. I love the art style. I love the color palette. It's very rich and earthy, as you would imagine from a illuminated earth oracle, and it reads exquisitely. And I'm really enjoying the fact that I'm getting to use a lot of decks in Oracle Wednesday now and show you not just the unboxings, but them in so beautiful in action and how they work with others. So that is you. Come here, you. Come here. I think someone wants to say hello. Come here. Oh, yes, you did. Oh, yes, you did. It's Puppy. Hi. Oh, hello. Thora's gotten very big. Say hello. Hello. He came right up. He jumped right up. He thinks he's still a what do you call him? A lapdog? Yes, that's the microphone. Say hello to everybody. Oh, you want to go down? No, you want to sit on mum. Okay, there we go. All right, so that's Oracle Wednesday for this week. Thank you for bearing with the fact that with my... Oh, no, he's on the keyboard. That my puppy is just a little snoodle and he just wants to be involved, don't you? And I will see you all next time. Oh, yes. Hi, baby.